What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to finally bring a video that I have been teasing for a very long time, and I finally found the time. I finally found the time. So today I'm gonna be swatching all of my weird shadows, like ugly weird shadows. These are the shadows that I picked out. I found that I feel like ugly weird are like mustards with also like swampy type colors. Those are the colors that I feel are weird. And then for shimmers, I feel like it's shades that like I wasn't expecting that when I swatched it from looking at the pan. Quick disclaimer, if you see any white dots on my face, my Fix Plus apparently was pissed off that I haven't used it in a couple of weeks, and so the charcoal did not really dissolve correctly, so I have some white dots on my face. It is what it is. I tried to kind of figure it out. I'm not redoing my face. It's not happening. So yeah, if we could just not comment about that today. Let's get to it. So during my 2 or 3 weeks off, I took the time to go through all my singles and pick out shades that I feel are like my weird, ugly, but pretty colors. Typically, it's going to be a lot of like browns with weird undertones. I also have some greens, all those with weird undertones. I have some golds with some funky switches, undertones to it. And yeah, those are pretty much the weird colors or ugly purity colors that I found in my collection when I was actually sitting down and going through them. If the person who asked me, months ago is still here, still subscribed, and is not appreciative of this video, I don't know how to say it, not appreciative, but if this was not the video that you were expecting or you wanted different colors, just let me know. But these are all the shadows that I found from my singles. I'm not sure if these are all still available, still being released, but what I will do is make sure to have them listed. I'm gonna try and get them listed on the screen for you guys, but if not, they will definitely be listed down below with links to the brand's website. I have quite a few brands that I'm gonna be talking about today. And yeah, last disclaimer, because I said I finished my disclaimers and then I haven't. I did not record this look. I just sat down and put makeup on for like the first time, seriously, in like 3 weeks. So yeah, if you want to know what I used one of my pre-made palettes that I did when I reorganized my singles. I will try and link that video up. And it is just this quad of browns and reds. Very basic, but this is like what I'm feeling like on my everyday basis. I'm generally reaching for that palette, or I'm literally putting some foundation on my eyelids and I'm setting it. Those are the two kind of options that I've been doing lately. So yeah, anyways, for real, let's get to swatching. So I'm gonna swatch it in a different manner than I did my other video from this series. My other video, I had my arm just on a flat surface, but today I'm gonna be in the video the whole time. I got my makeup on, why not? So the first shadow that I'm gonna be talking about today is from Clionadh Cosmetics, and it's Parchment. And this is a shade that I picked out. This is a shade that I picked out because it is a beige, but it's like a beige with enough, oh, you guys can't see, hold on, let's see what we can do about that. Hopefully you guys can see. This is a beige with enough depth and enough yellow in it that on my complexion you can actually see it. Generally with more beige colors, they all turn out to be white on my complexion, but this one has enough yellow and enough depth that you can really see something happening, which I appreciate. I also have from the same brand Toasty, and this is just a light brown, but it has a very, very strong yellow undertone. Like I said, this is going to be a weird color to me. I don't know. I just thought it was a weird color. And to me, it's like a ugly but pretty color. Okay, the next one is from Luxie, right? Yep, Luxie, and it's Luxie's Roasted. This is a really, really dark brown, and I always feel like it's a green when I'm looking at it in the pan, but it's clearly a really dark brown, and I always think it's a green because of how cool tone it is. And maybe it's not cool tone, maybe it's more neutral, but it just always seems so weird. It just seems like a weird but pretty color. Next we have our first metallic shade, and if I can pick it up, I will swatch it. And it's from Sydney Grace, and it's Rustic. Now this is a beauty. So once again, this is a brown, but to me it definitely has a very strong and impactful green undertone to it. So if you weren't noticing it, or if you just were kind of running around, you might actually think that this is a green, but it's not. It's actually a brown with a very, very strong green undertone. And I think that's what really makes this shade like a weird, ugly color, because it's pretty, don't get me wrong, but it has such a weird undertone that when you're going to reach for, or when you're applying it, you're like, oh, I thought this was just a brown, but it's something different. It has that little something. So yeah, really, really cool color. Another brown that I have is from Sydney Grace, and it's Vanguard. This one has, it's like a, this is like a poopy brown to me. It definitely is a brown, but it definitely has like a greeny yellow undertone to it. It's pretty much a lighter form of the shade that's right above it, in my opinion. I love shades like this. I feel like it brings a little something different to the look than what otherwise you may have had. Next, I have a shade from Devinah Cosmetics, and it's Freya. And this is a really, really pretty brownie, poopy, caramelly color. Yes, I just had like 3 different adjectives. We're just gonna keep pushing. Look at it. Don't you think it looks like a poopy brownie green situation? I mean, it's just, it's nice. That's all I can say. It's just nice. And then the last shade I have in this top row is from Luxie Cosmetics, and it's Elixir. And this is another metallic, and this metallic is insane. So in the pan, you can tell it's a little funky, and it's basically a gold with a very, very, very strong green undertone. And I mean, you could even say it's like a yellow gold with a very strong green undertone. This is a beautiful, ugly color, in my opinion. I love shades like this because you can use this with greens in your crease, or you can use them with browns in your crease, and it will really change your look from being super, super basic to having a little bit of something interesting. Just like this shade that I have on my lid today. It is an orange, but it also has some yellow in there. It also has a little bit of red. So it really brings together this real fiery look that I have going on today. Okay, for the second row in this palette, we have another Devinah Cosmetics single, and it is in the shade Anastasia. And this is going to be a pretty light caramel, but it's really, really strong yellow. I mean, the amount of yellow that is in this is insane. And that's why I think it's a pretty ugly color, because you would think you're just getting a basic caramel, but you're not. You're getting basically a yellow, but it's like a warm yellow. It's like, it's pretty, but it's ugly. Next we have another brown with a pretty strong yellow undertone. This is going to be one of the cheaper singles that I talk about in this whole video, and it's from Coastal Scents, and it's Oktoberfest. I love this single. I should give this up because It is slightly hard to get some product out of it, but I love it so much that I just refuse. I refuse. I keep working through it. And this is another brown, like I said, with a yellow undertone. And I just think those shades are really fun. If you yourself have a yellow undertone, those will probably look really good. They'll probably be really good, what is it called? Transition shades for you. But for me, I don't find that I have personally a yellow undertone, so they really pop and do something to my skin. Next is a shade from ColourPop, and it's Paper Tiger. I just think this is a nice, you know, yellow caramel poopy situation. I think it's leaning more on the caramel side, definitely a lot more neutral than the yellow from Devinah, I think. And yeah, the yellow from Devinah, it's definitely a lot more neutral in tone, and it's a little bit more subtler. But I always think that camel colors are just funky because they're like mustardy, like throw up-y type colors. Next is a metallic, and I have no name for this metallic, which means I stole it from a palette because that's what I do. So because of that, I can't tell you where I got this from, but as you can see, this is a beauty. So this is a gold metallic that has significant amount of green in there, so you really get a different impact, especially from this metallic up here, which is like more of a yellowy gold. This one is just more of a true gold with green undertones to it. I wish I knew what palette I stole it from, but I've been depotting palettes and not using my makeup for a little bit. Too much time has gone in between. I don't remember anymore. The next shade is from Elixir, and it's called Rage, and this is a really unique shade. Now this may be one of their multi-chromes, I'm not positive, and if it is, my bizzles, because I have quite a few other multi-chromes, but I think this is just really interesting. No, this isn't a multi-chrome. This is just like a blackened purple. Oh, it is a multi-chrome. It's green on the screen. Well, it's pretty because it's pretty, but it's funky and ugly because you don't know what shade it is. That's what we're gonna go with. My bad. I clearly didn't do too much research, but this is such a pretty color, so we're gonna keep it, and that can be my symbolic shade for all of my multi-chromes because I have quite a few. I am thinking about actually doing a swatching video on all of my special shades, specifically my multi-chromes, because I have quite a few, and I would love to show you guys them. Next is a shade from Inglot, and this is a olivey shade. Now I think olive shades are pretty but also ugly in the same sense because the undertones are so weird and the actual shade is just so weird. It feels like it's an in-betweener shade, you know what I mean? So this is the shade. It's from Inglot. I did not tell you guys the name because Inglot has to be difficult and not give me a normal name. So this shade is, I said Inglot. This is from Makeup Forever, and this is in the shade M322. So M322, a really nice olive shade with, I would say, kind of yellowy undertone situation. I really do enjoy it. Okay, last shade in this palette is from Devinah Cosmetics, and it is Junsia, and this is a really pretty, very pretty shade, but very weird shade. And this is like the epitome of like what is it called, green pea, like split pea soup. This is the color that I imagine split pea soup to be. I've never had split pea soup. I don't know if I would like it, but this is the color that I imagine it to be. And most people don't think that's a pretty color. I think it's a pretty color, but it's a pretty ugly color. Okay, so last kind of real row in this palette, and I have Sydney Grace's Peanut Butter. I don't know if they still have this in their range because I had this when they were still Feather River Body, so who knows. But this is yet another brown, And this one's weird, not because it has a yellow undertone, but because I feel as though this has a neutral undertone. And that is very rare to find. So yeah, that's what I feel like. And this is another shade, Tipsy. I believe this is from Christina Lee. I believe. I don't remember. And this is another gold with a very strong green undertone to it. I really like that concept. I really like those colors. As you can see, I have 3 of them in this palette alone, all with different varieties and different qualities bringing to them. But yeah, this one definitely, in my opinion, brings off the most green overall. The other 2 don't have as much of a green bite to it. Then we have Sydney Grace's Mango Tea, and this is going to be a lot more like just orange and yellow. I feel like there's pretty much no brown, and this is like a weird color because it feels like it should be a brown, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like it should be a brown, but I feel like there's no brown to it. It just feels like there's only orange and yellow pigments in this product, or in the shade, which makes it pretty, but it just feels off because it doesn't have that brown, so it feels ugly too. The next one is Tiki from ColourPop, and this is just a classic mustard shade. And like I said, I just feel like mustard shades overall are just pretty but ugly. So I tried to do my best to add as many variety options for that I could. Alrighty, next I have my one shade from ABH, and this is supposed to be a bronze and topaz, but I feel like it has a really weird undertone, and it's warm. It's like rosy. That's what I meant to say. So this bronze feels really warm, rosy, and that's weird, isn't it? But it's a pretty color. It just feels weird and rosy. Alright, now we're into the last couple of shades, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch my arm over to the other side, and this one's from Sydney Grace as well, and this is Bravo. And this is, I'm trying not to get this on my sweatshirt, and this is a green. This is an olive green. And I find that this shade just has a very, very pretty strong yellow undertone to it. And like I said, to me, olive shades are very pretty, but they're also ugly pretty. That's just my take on it. And then no, it's not the last one. I don't know why I was saying that. Next I have Devinah Patina. And this is another olivey shade. This is definitely more vibrant, so I feel like there's definitely more yellow in this shade between the 2 that I've swatched on this side, but very, very good things. 4 more shades left, and these are all going to be from Give Me Glow, if I am correct. If I can get the pan out. There's nothing on the back. Yeah, this has to be from Give Me Glow. This is from my quad that I had with them. I have their Moneymakers quad, I think, and this is one of the shades from that quad. Once again, this is another olive shade. I just feel like olive shades overall are pretty, but also ugly pretty, so that's why I chose it. This next one, I believe, is from that same quad, and this one is an ugly pretty shade because it looks like a white. It feels like a white, but it has like a green tinge to it, if that makes sense. And because of that, it just feels weird. Like, what white or cream pulls green? I don't understand the witchery, the craftity, the artistry that was created to get that shadow, but I'm okay with it at the same point. The shimmer that was in that quad is another one that I decided to pick up because it looked like it was just going to be a plain silver, but bada bang, there's huge green pigments in this baby, and it's a beaut. So for the last shade, I chose another shade. This one's actually not from Give Me Glow. This one's actually from Melt, and this is from my Rust stack, and it is called Rubbish. And this is like their caramel shade, and I love this shade, love it. And I think it also is like a pretty ugly shade because it is a caramel shade, but there's definitely significant amount of yellow in there, and because of that it comes off a lot lighter than otherwise I would think a camel shade should be. So these are all of these, and the ones on my back are all the shades that I found in my collection that are pretty ugly shades. I know some people may not agree with that terminology or even agree that some of these shades are ugly or pretty. Regardless, these are the ones that I chose from my collection. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know if you guys do want to see me swatch out every last multi-chrome that I have in my collection. I'm also thinking about going through and having some fun with my flakes. I have quite a few flakes. As you would have seen in my last declutter video, I found that I had a whole bunch of flakes waiting for me to test out. So let me know if you guys are interested in seeing those. And I think that's it. So as always, y'all, it has been